Welcome back to Community Matters. We're continuing our conversation with Mallory Wojciechowski of the Better Business Bureau of Eastern North Carolina. Well, I'm kind of anxious to talk about this, the top scams that you're aware of now in not only North Carolina, but I mean, this is something that is happening all over the world. Can I ask first, Mallory, how do you become aware of the scams? Is it through phone calls or how?
Sure, and there's many ways. We do have consumers who call us daily with scams that they're seeing. A lot of them are inquiring about if it really is a scam or if it's an actual offer. We do a lot of presentations in the area, and at those events we have consumers who are telling us what's going on. But we also do have a program called Scam Tracker where consumers can go on. It's an interactive map on our site, and they can go on and report scams that they're seeing in their area. But the other side of it is that you, as a consumer, can also go on and see what's happening in your area. So you can actually zone it down to your zip code and see what scams are happening close by to you.
Are there some folks that are more susceptible, or are we all pretty vulnerable to this?
I'd say everyone's susceptible to scams, but we are finding that, as everyone expects, senior citizens are definitely targets of scam artists, but we're finding that millennials and college students are actually becoming prime targets of scam artists. They're the ones who are spending their time online, and we are seeing a lot of scams that are happening online.
It's not a secret now. I get emails from the princess over in the Middle East somewhere who has just found an endowment that she needs help with. I can tell immediately that that's a scam. But they're pretty good now, aren't they?
They
the
are.
Scammers out there. Let's talk a little bit about some of the scams that might be making the rounds in our area. What stands out right now?
Well, you know, there are some scams that we see year after year. One is the IRS scam, and you may receive something saying that you owe money to the government, and if you don't pay right away, they're going to arrest you.
They actually mail this to you?
Sometimes it comes via email, sometimes it's a phone call.
Really?
We also, when it comes via phone, sometimes there's something called spoofing, which means your caller ID will be changed to say whoever claims to be calling. They can change it to say what they want to say, which makes it seem more credible. So actually we received these calls come, and it says that if you don't pay this money, you're going to be arrested, and it scares people. It's a scare tactic. And people unfortunately pay that money, and oftentimes they ask you to pay it through wire transfer or through a prepaid debit card. And if you're asked to pay money in that form or fashion, that's a huge red flag right there. If you're ever asked to wire money to someone that you don't know, we highly recommend not doing so. The IRS will not ask you to pay that way.
I want to ask you about spoofing again, because I didn't know they could do that. I've been getting calls, for instance, from telemarketers, but their numbers are always local numbers.
Sure.
How do they do that?
Sure, there's technology in place where they can go and make that say whatever they'd like it to say, so that you're more likely to answer the phone when you see that. So you really can't always trust who's on the other end of, who you think's on the other end of that call.
These scams, they play out throughout the country. Do they kind of make a round? I mean, for instance, what's hot here today will be hot somewhere else in the country, or is it pretty uniform?
That can happen, but honestly, it's pretty uniform. We see a lot of the scams will pop up certain times a year, and we'll probably see them again next year. They may have a new twist next week that we'll see. One scam that we've seen for years and years, we call the grandparent scam, where you may receive a phone call claiming to be your grandchild or claiming to be a police officer, saying that your child has been traveling in a different country and has been arrested, and they need you to send money, and they'll ask you to send it via wire transfer. And that's a scam that we've seen for years, but now we also see it come through email saying that a friend is traveling and they need help. And oftentimes their email may have been hacked, so it actually comes from their email address, and they're saying they need help, can you wire me money? But once again, you're being asked to wire money, and we highly recommend reaching out. If you do receive that email or that call and you're not sure, reach out to someone that you can trust to find out if this is actually the situation that you believe it to be.
Are you seeing more of these scams coming via the internet versus the phone, or is it balanced out?
They still come via the phone, but we're certainly seeing more and more online through email and on different websites.
Now, I've heard the term phishing scam because that's been in the news. What is that?
So phishing emails come through, and ultimately they have a link in there that they're trying to get you to click on that often is a virus. One example we see will claim to come from your bank, and they'll say we need to update your records or verify information. Click on the link below, and when you click on it, it may be a virus, or it may lead you to a site that has that looks like your bank's website, but actually is a phony site, and they're asking you to put in your account numbers. And those are the types of things that you've got to be careful of. One thing you can always do, if there's a link in an email and you're not sure if you should click on it, always hover your mouse over that link without clicking. And when you hover your mouse over, it will pop up and let you know where that link is
Really?
going to.
Wow.
So certainly if it claims to be from Bank of America, you would expect it to be going to a Bank of America website, not to a site that is just a random assortment of numbers and letters. So that's one way that you can always check.
Now, there's also the debt scam, right, where they're trying to collect bad debt from individuals. How does that work? Are they targeting people with bad debt, or is it open to anybody?
Oh, that can be open to anyone. Really? It can be. And they'll call claiming, and once again, it's that scare tactic. They'll call claiming to arrest you, put you in jail if you don't pay, and they'll ask it to be sent via wire transfer. So these are the scams you have to we use extra caution. If you're asked to wire money, think twice about it.
So government, tech support, I did this on the internet myself where my computer was in trouble. I had to click on something and it destroyed my computer. That happens a lot. I mean, it's come to the point where if it's a Microsoft type of product that they're trying to use as a facade, it looks like a Microsoft product. You know what I'm saying? How do you tell those when you're online like that and those pop up?
A lot of scam artists can duplicate, whether it's Microsoft or they can duplicate well-known retailers, sites that pop up, and you think maybe an ad will pop up even, and it says a great deal at Walmart, and you'll click on it, and you think that you're on the actual site, and sure enough, you're not. You're on a phony site, or it's a virus, and now your computer, all your information has been taken. One important point is if you're ever shopping online, even if you believe it to be a well-known retailer, you want to make sure that you are on the actual legitimate site of that retailer. And the best way to do that is by looking at, in the top where the URL is, it will say HTTP. If it has an S there, so it will say HTTPS, that S lets you know you are on a safe and secure site. That means it's safe to put in personal information such as a social security number or your credit card information.
Oh, that's good information. Well, I'm so glad you can make it today. How do folks get to know the Better Business Bureau better? How do they contact you, whether you're a business or whether you're someone who is looking for a recommendation for a business?
Sure. The best way is on our website. That's bbb.org.
Mallory, thank you.
Thank you so much for having me.
I learned a lot today, I really did. Thanks for watching Community Matters. We hope you've enjoyed the show. And if you'd like to view previous episodes, you can visit our websites at raleigh.cw.com and myrdctv.com. And we'll see you next week.